Wow, there is so much bad information on TikTok on what you should be doing on your tax return and how you can save taxes. So I gotta set the record straight on this. I'm gonna call out some of this BS that is here on TikTok on tax planning. The nice thing is there's actually a few strategies in here you should be doing on your tax return. So I'm gonna highlight those and go over the proper way to do that on your tax return. All right, let's check these out.
You can buy like nice watches as an example, and as long as they're consistently in your content, maybe you do like a few pieces of content on YouTube or on your Instagram that are like watch.
No, do not listen to this guy. All right, okay, this is not right.
Tours or watch explanations, or you simply put, you work them into what you do. That can all be articulated as a tax write-off to the IRS. It's important to note though, it's about how you do it. You got to follow their rules. It's not just like you buy them and you put them in one video and then you get to write it off.
Okay, so I don't know what he's saying there, because then he drops this caveat. You got to follow the rules. Here's the rules. You're not going to write off a luxury watch just because you put it in a YouTube video, unless your YouTube channel is about reviewing watches and the YouTube channel actually makes money from people watching it, or maybe you sell watches. But remember, to write off any expense in your business, it must be an expense that is necessary and ordinary to create income in your business. If it's just a cool luxury watch that you want to wear, the only thing it does is tell time, you're not going to be able to expense it. But there is a cool strategy on the watch. If you have an Apple Watch or maybe some electronic watch that has a calendar, your email, other business apps on it, you can write that off as a technology expense, not as simply a luxury watch that happens to tell time.
Hey, Tax Tip Tuesday. Don't forget, gambling losses are a tax write-off. Every day for lunch, I come out, I pick up scratch tickets off the ground. You pick up an aluminum can, you get what, 5 cents? This right here, $2, $3 a pop.
$2, $3 a pop. This guy's onto something here. Gambling losses are an expense.
I haven't paid taxes in years. Dig through your neighbor's trash, whatever. Go to the bodega, ask for the losers. So if your mother got your scratch tickets for a stocking stuffer for Christmas and they're all losers, even better. You don't have to win to hit the jackpot.
I love that. You don't have to win to hit the jackpot. But if you want a tax deduction on your gambling losses, you must have gambling income, okay? You can write off gambling losses only against gambling income though. So for example, if you're a professional poker player that made $100,000 playing poker and you lost $75,000 playing poker, you actually have taxable income of $25K. But for all the rest of this, those gambling losses are just entertainment. I'm sorry, you're not getting a tax deduction. But also let me point one other thing out here. You actually have to incur the expense. Getting the receipt at the bodega or grandma's Christmas loser card is not gonna count. You actually have to have incurred any expense to write it off. Kudos to Zach there on the video. I actually loved it despite it being wrong tax advice. By the way, if you find any other videos that are bad tax advice, stuff you're like, is that legal? Is this really a way I can build wealth? Send them to my TikTok and then my team will get them to me and then we'll do some reacts. I need your help because I'm on a mission here to debunk all this BS advice that's happening out there. No one's doing it. I gotta set the record straight on what is reality. The reality is, as we're talking about here, there are tax strategies you can implement, but I need to make sure you're staying away from some of this BS stuff that'll get you in trouble.
I'm also here to tell you firsthand, if you are paying taxes, you are going to be poorer much longer than the people who are not paying taxes. So find yourself a nice legal way to not pay taxes.
Okay, I'm sold on this. Let's find yourself a nice legal way. I'm here.
How you do that is through a corporation.
Okay, wrong. A corporation does not make an expense legitimate in the eyes of the IRS. That's just a business structure. You might use a corporation. We love S corporations for small business owners to save on self-employment tax. But starting a corporation or an LLC does not save taxes. You can just be a sole proprietorship. If you have a business and an expense in the business, you can write it off. But don't think you need a corporation in order to have a write-off. That is totally false.
You start a business and you start doing something, anything. I don't care if you're entrepreneurial or not, because once you start that business, so now you have a reason to write off clothing. You have a reason to write off part of your mortgage payment for your home office. You're reducing your taxable income.
Okay, I love the home office, throwing that in there. If you have a business, a main hustle, a side hustle, and you work in an area of your home, we're definitely taking a home office deduction. I take that in my own business because I do conduct some business from my home. Definitely take that. However, writing off clothing is not a deduction unless it is necessary for the business. Now, maybe you're a contractor and you have safety glasses or you have safety boots. We want to expense that, and that's a write-off in your business. But you can't just write off clothing in general. I'm a lawyer that owns a law firm, I own the business, I can't write off my suit because my customers and clients and people expect me to wear a suit. If I go to court, the judge expects me and actually requires me to wear a suit, but I don't get to write that off. This idea that the regular clothes I'm gonna buy anyways can just be a write-off is totally false. Now, we talk a lot in our law firm about how small business opens up tons of tax deductions and strategies and ways you can legitimately save. But these people are going overboard. They are crossing the line of what is reality. Absolutely, I love the home office deduction that he mentioned. There's a lot of other deductions we're gonna talk about here in the video that you can take, but everybody's crossing the line here with like, I'm writing off everything in my life because I started a corporation. That is not what it's about. Necessary and ordinary expenses in your business.
If you work a regular job, you pay way more taxes than I do as a business owner who probably makes 10 times what you make on a monthly basis. Now, why am I paying less taxes than you? Because I have what's called an LLC. Okay, that is a separate entity. It has a different social security number than me, but I own it. Okay, now I get to write off everything that you do comes off of my income.
Oh, this is so wrong. LLCs do not save taxes. Now, if he has an LLC that is an actual business, you can expense certain things.
And all of your income is still taxed. Mine isn't, because I get to write off my food, my clothes, my gas, travel, my phone, my laptop, every expense.
Okay, this is so bad. This is wrong, okay? First of all, LLCs do not save taxes. If your LLC has a business that is a legitimate business with income, I can write off any expenses necessary and reasonable in that business. But let's correct the record here. And this is where everyone's getting off the rails and thinking they can give you great tax advice. Meals are not an expense unless it's a business meal. I presume this guy isn't always having a business meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't even know how that's possible. And by the way, let's say you had a meal with a business partner or a customer or a client or potential client. You can expense that, but it's a 50% deduction. It's not 100% deductible. Also, your cell phone expense. That is definitely something you can write off if the cell phone's used in the business. Now, the IRS has said if you want to write it off 100%, you must show you have another separate personal line, whether that's a landline or another cell line. Otherwise, you're going to have to apportion the use of that cell number to how much is personal versus business. So the reality here, and this is with most tax advice, is it's kind of true, but he's way going overboard on saying all of the expenses in your life, I get a write off. Let's talk about gas though. Auto is a huge deduction. 95% of our clients do not write off their gas. They write off mileage, okay? 67 cents a mile. Let's say you're a realtor, a real estate investor. You're driving around a lot because you got to go to different properties. You have 10,000 miles on your car for the year. You got to take that at 67 cents a mile. That's a $6,700 deduction that reduces your income $6,700. But that's because those were business miles. If you're driving to the grocery store or you're going on a date or something personal, going to a family thing, that is not a business expense. All right, if you want real strategies on how to save taxes, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm giving weekly videos on tax saving tips, ways to protect assets, build wealth, grow your retirement. There are legitimate strategies to do this. I'm getting a little tired of people trying to find a shortcut to this and overcooking all of this type of stuff and giving you bad advice. Stop watching people with zero credentials that don't know what they're talking about. There is great tax planning. There is great legal advice that you can get. You don't have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. We'll see you back here next time in another amazing video. And remember, if you see any of this cringy advice, please send it over to my TikTok at Sorensen Matt. You can find me there and my team will get it to me and we'll do another reacts on it. We'll see you next time.